Hello everyone, I'm Ankit and you're watching StudyIQ IAS English. I know it has been a long time. So in today's video, what we'll do is we'll try to understand why is Jharkhand Public Service Commission's recruitment scam is in news. Now the reason why I've picked up this article for our today's discussion would be very clear once you understand the context behind it. Right now, there is a nationwide debate that has been ongoing on irregularities that happen in any competitive exams, be it NEET, be it a state civil service exam. So as a result, Jharkhand's own recruitment system also once again is under scrutiny. So why is it under scrutiny? This has happened because recently the resignation has been given by Jharkhand Public Service Commission's chairperson, Mr. L. Khyangte. Now, Mr. L. Khyangte resigned under the pretext of alleged irregularities that has happened in 14th combined civil services exam that has been held by the Jharkhand Public Service Commission this year in the month of April. Now his resignation came after the fact that CID of the Jharkhand police raided his residence and old JPSC office in line with this particular scam. Now what has happened is that the CID probe is actually focusing on arrest of several people, including many JPSC officials, in addition to employees of a private agency who is associated with conducting of exam under a contract given by JPSC. Now, opposition parties have demanded that CBI probe should be conducted, and therefore the students are ongoing and continuing the protest. Now, this has revived an old question, and this question has been persistent since the time Jharkhand was formed in the year 2000, that the Jharkhand Public Service Commission, whenever it conducts an examination, why is there a controversy relating to it? So, we'll try to understand this particular angle in the broader scheme of things, that is the functioning of state public service commissions. Right now, the notes which I will be using for our today's session, you can also download them by going to a particular Telegram channel called as ATS Live. And while you're at it, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel also. Okay, so let us first try to understand what Jharkhand Public Service Commission essentially does. You all may have heard of the Union Public Service Commission at the central level. Right, so UPSC at the central level conducts examination for hiring of people who serve in central government and all India services like IAS, IPS, IFS, Forest Service, etc., etc. Similarly, for the post at state governments, to hire people on that post, the State Public Service Commission, also a constitutional body like UPSC, conducts the examination. Right? Now, a State Public Service Commission like the Jharkhand Public Service Commission usually consists of a chairman and other members who are appointed by the governor of that particular state. And I told you these State Public Service Commissions, or the JPSC here in Jharkhand, it derives its powers from Article 315 to Article 323 of the Constitution, and these articles of the Constitution actually deal with the fact of how to appoint the members, what will be the roles and responsibilities, how their functioning and finances would be handled. Now you need to understand, why does government form a separate commission for hiring of people? You need to understand, to hire for post and in order to make them immune from political patronage, you conduct or you establish a separate commission who derives its powers directly from the Constitution, and that commission at union level or at state level would be responsible for hiring people, would be responsible for disciplining the existing civil services officers of the country. Right? So this is why you create a separate constitutional body. In order to make them immune from political patronage, you ensure that their finances are directly derived from the state or the center's consolidated fund. Right? Now, what are the roles and responsibilities of such public service commissions? Let us try to understand that. The most important and the most public role that these state public service commission has is that they conduct examinations which are in form of competitive exams or direct recruitment for select qualified candidates who serve at state government groups and different civil services posts. Similarly, these Public Service Commission also advises the government by providing them guidance on how to recruit people, how to promote existing officers, transfer them, and any other legal or disciplinary issues. In addition to that, what you need to understand, these commissions are basically watchdog of merit at the state levels. Now, for any good examination to be held, the sole criteria for hiring people should be merit, and which organizations ensures that this merit is protected at the state level? It is the very State Public Service Commissions. So they ensure that hiring and selections are based solely on the skill and fairness rather than outside political pressures. Right. Now, in this regard, let us try to understand why this scam, which has happened at Jharkhand Public Service Commission, becomes important. Now, let us try to understand how the controversy began and how it actually happened. Now, this controversy soon began after JPSC declared the preliminary examination results of its 14th Combined Civil Services exam, and these results were declared this month. You need to understand, when it comes to hiring for civil services, both at central level and at state level, there are 3 stages which a candidate needs to qualify in order to become an officer. First stage is called as a preliminary stage, where many people appear for this exam and only a selected are qualified who eventually give up mains examination. And the ones who qualify mains examination, they appear for interview and ultimately get selected. So we are dealing with the first stage of this process, that is the preliminary exams. So the scam actually became public once the results of preliminary exams were declared. Now the JPSC was hiring for 103 vacancies, and therefore they have shortlisted 2204 candidates who will be giving mains examination. But since the results went public, the candidates began raising several very important questions. So what are these questions that have been raised by candidates? Let us try to understand this. Now, whenever a result of an exam is declared, a public exam, usually the conducting body of that exam publishes the cutoff marks. Cutoff marks is basically the least amount of marks based on which the candidates must have been selected. Right now, when the results of preliminary exam was made public, they did not publicize or publicate the category wise cutoff marks, which commission did not release. So this related to, or this gave a rise to controversy. Second objection that the candidates have raised is that when the results were made public, that document itself did not bear a signature of any commission member. Right now, you must have seen, whenever a recruitment result is published, that document always has a sign of a chairperson or any important functionary of that commission, but that sign was absent in this regard. So this raised the legal requirement whether such publication of results are actually legal or not. The third controversy that happened is because an OMR sheet became public in social media. Now, the independent veracity of this OMR sheets, whether it is authentic or is it fabricated, has not been made public. But get my point, what I'm trying to say here. Now, when this OMR sheet was made public, a candidate who has literally qualified this exam, it was seen that he had only attempted 48 questions. Now, a normal candidate, if he attempts 48 questions in an exam, it is possible that they might not get enough marks in order to get the cutoff marks. But that candidate who attempted 48 questions actually was the candidate who qualified this exam. So there was a doubt in the minds of candidates whether this exam is actually fair, or has this candidate who has attempted less number of questions gotten some undue favor which resulted into his selection. So because of all these controversies, what happened that the state government directed the CID to constitute a special investigative team, and this special investigative team has initiated an investigation in what is called as an irregularity or a scam in this recruitment exam. Now, what becomes surprising after the events of investigation details have been made public is that a name has been cropped up quite frequently in the media called as Abhay Tiwari. Now, Abhay Tiwari is also known with his alias name or other name, that is Manoj Kumar Tiwari. Now, this Abhay Tiwari is a government officer. He serves as a block supply officer. So one irregularity is that this same person under his different name is also serving as a marketing manager of a private testing agency who has been given a contract by JPSC to conduct this examination, and this raises two questions. First, government service officials are not allowed to take any other form of jobs, be it private or public job. This is the first problem. Second problem, even if they are allowed to take another jobs, don't you think him taking a job in another private company would raise questions on conflict of interest? Because if you're a government service officer, you should be seen in acting in a fair manner. But if you are working in another organization which is helping the JPSC to conduct this examination, this raises many questions of irregularities. Right now, what becomes surprising is that same on private agency which is conducting the exam was earlier in May 2025 was blacklisted by the JPSC for being violating any exam related issues. Right now, this organization, a private company, is also blacklisted in many other states, including UP. But 1 month after getting blacklisted by the Jharkhand government, the same agency got a contract to conduct another government exam. So, if this was the case, if the organization has been known to play unethical ways of conducting the exam, so why it was blacklisted in the first place? And if it was blacklisted, then why only after a month was it given a chance to conduct another public examination? Now, what happened actually in January this year, a person from Karnataka raised certain questions and gave a letter to the chairperson of the JPSC. He highlighted that there have been some irregularities that has been conducted with respect to OMR sheets for Forest Range Officers exam as well as Assistant Conservator of Forest exams, again which were conducted by JPSC. Now, this complaint letter again mentions the name Abhay Tiwari, that he is accused in certain kind of irregularities, and this recruitment or this complaint letter was given to the chairperson of JPSC. So this means that the chairperson of JPSC perhaps knew about the irregularities and chose not to take any action against the agency or the person accused of irregularities, and this is why this matter has blown out of proportion. But is it just an isolated controversy that has happened for the first time in Jharkhand? The answer is no. As I told you at the start, since the time Jharkhand was created as a separate state in 2000 and a separate Jharkhand Public Service Commission was created to conduct examinations for the same state level public jobs, there has been no exam conducted by the JPSC which has not faced controversy. What are the different kinds of controversy that has happened? Sometimes the results are revised, sometimes additional results lists are given, sometimes interview marks are disputed by the candidate, sometimes reservation related litigation happens which delays when the results are going to be published. Sometimes answer key errors are there, sometimes evaluation related controversy happens, sometimes court intervenes which further delays the completion of the recruitment process. Now, the first and second civil services exam that was held soon after the state was created in 2000, it also faced certain allegations of irregularities, and the Central Bureau of Investigation is conducting the investigation for these kind of irregularities. Now, because of the irregularities associated with JPSC and its exam, many political parties, when they have come into power in Jharkhand, they have tried to slow down the recruitment process in order to avoid the controversies. And that happened when there was a 5-year NDA government which was held or led by the CM at that time, Mr. Raghuvar Das. Now, as the Hemant Soren-led government got power in 2019, they promised that they will regularly conduct recruitment exams and they would try to clear backlogs in the previous regime when the exams were not conducted. So they tried to combine many exams into one. So what happened is that the 7th to 10th examination were held together. They were clubbed in one exam. Then 11 to 13 recruitment exams were clubbed together in form of another exam. So multiple iterations of exam which could have held every year, rather they were put together into one, and combined recruitment happened because the government wanted to clear backlog. This is not just it. Even after the conduction of exams in clubbed mode, what happened that these organized exams also witnessed protest, and the protest happened because there were delays in declaration of results, there were evaluation issues, and litigation was filed before high courts which eventually delayed the proceedings of qualification of results. Now the JPSC this time has also postponed 9 competitive recruitment exams for around 500 posts, including delaying of combined civil services mains examination until this investigation is complete. So the moot point is, because of the irregularities, the part and parcel of conduction of exams, their completion at the stipulated time and hiring of people have got delayed multiple times, and this has happened since the time Jharkhand was created in 2000. Now this raises some very big questions. First question is that the candidates as well as opposition parties in the state, they are demanding that the investigation should be conducted not by the state Police of Jharkhand, but rather by a Central Bureau of Investigation, which is under the central government. Similarly, there are also demands that Education Minister of Jharkhand should resign in order to take accountability for the wrongdoings that has happened in the Jharkhand state. Now, many candidates, it is not just a matter of irregularity that has happened in one exam. The bigger matter is that the trust when it comes to the ability of JPSC to conduct examination without any irregularities, to not let any kind of scam happen in its recruitment process, has raised a very big question. And this question is whether the people of Jharkhand can trust organizations like JPSC, which is responsible for overlooking and making the issue of merit the sole amount on which the exams and recruitment processes are held. So this raises one biggest question, that the controversy is not just relating to delayed recruitment, but it deepens the trust deficit that lack of aspirants hold in such public service bodies, that they want only the merit to be the sole fulcrum based on which the hirings are happen, not on the basis of some scams. Right now, before we wind up our today's discussion, there is a very important announcement. Right now, if you take courses in StudyIQ English batches in P2I Foundation courses, you are going to be offered 50% discount in addition to double validity on all courses. So normally, if you opt for a course which has say 18 months of validity, you're going to get 36 months of validity. So you can prepare for a longer duration of time without having to need to buy any another course. Right now, the sale is live right now as we speak. So go to our website, put the code ATS live, and using this code ATS live, you're going to get the offers that are shown in this particular slide. Now, before we wind up our today's discussion, there is a very important question that I'd want you to solve. This kind of questions usually appear in the UPSC exam. So try to solve this question based on our today's discussion. It would be very easy. And if you want to download the notes, this is where you'd find it on the Telegram channel called as ATS Live. So this is all from my side for today. Please have a very good day. We'll see each other again quite soon.